What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Mustard back with another video, and today we here to review Monster Hunter Wilds, the 6th game within the Monster Hunter franchise. Let's get into, which surprisingly, the story. Now, I say surprisingly because in the last few Monster Hunter games, or just in Monster Hunter in general, it doesn't seem like they make a story, but it doesn't really seem like you really care about the story. So this is what this Monster Hunter really focused on. They wanted more of a story-driven game instead of you just beating up on monsters and becoming the God-eccentric person that you know you can be, because everybody knows that they just want to play God at some point in the game. But like, Monster Hunter creators, I'm gonna be real. The story was nice, but it's a little bit too late for us to not want to just beat up on monsters. You know, that's what we're here for. That's what you made the game for. But let's get on into the story here. To sum it up real quick, it's literally just you going to a new area known as the Forbidden Lands. And you find this boy named Nada, which he's from the Forbidden Lands. His people was attacked by a monster known as the White Wraith, which eventually in the story will be known as the flagship monster, the Arkveld. Pretty much you're just doing what every other Monster Hunter does. You're investigating like the Forbidden Lands and the ecosystems, and when stuff changes, like what new monsters and all this other stuff comes out. And that's really it. But like the thing that really got me on the story this time was one, you and your cat can talk, which threw me off. Everybody who's played Monster Hunter knows that you just nod or you move your head, you do all this other stuff. You know, you don't really speak in the Monster Hunter games. Another thing is that your handler. Now, Alma in this game, Alma cooks in this game. I don't know why. You just care about her more. And the reason why I say that because me and my friend has like a little joke, like Monster Hunter World, the handler, I can't think of her name right now, but yeah, they called her trash. Like legit, all my friends like, bro, she's trash. And the one thing that I remember while doing this video is there's actually a serious handler in that game as well. So you have two, which you don't keep the serious handler for long, but like I forgot the serious handler was a thing in that game. Like legit, she's around so little that you know, you forget about her. She got me tongue twisted here. But yeah, and then you have in this game you will have Gemma, the blacksmith, which I thought it was pretty interesting too, because they literally follow you throughout the whole game. Alma, Gemma, and Nada, and they pretty much help you throughout the whole story. And y'all like a little team. But the reason why I like Gemma so much too is because it doesn't feel like I'm just beating up monsters this time and actually just going into like some random blacksmith dude. I'm like, hey, I came back with what you needed, you know, make my stuff. You know, no, all the talks to you, it seems like she genuinely cares about you going out into the wilds and doing stuff, what you're doing too, because you have her so much into the story. And I'm gonna get back to these characters too, because there's another reason that I want to touch on them, why I feel like they're also so important. But moving on to that, you also have Olivia, which, if there's Olivia fans out there, I'm sorry. Olivia is mid as hell to me. I'm sorry. Like, the missions that I had her for, she did not help me at all. She literally got cooked the entire time. That's just how it is. I don't want to hear no arguments, bro. Like, oh man, you know, the AI made her good for... No, the AI didn't make her good for those missions. She literally just sucks for me. Trash. Or mid. I'm gonna just say mid. I say trash a lot, y'all. I'd be on speed dial to say trash for people, but nah, mid. And then the guy who's pretty much like running the whole expedition, Fabius, which I did not feel like they give him as much character as they could, because, you know, he wasn't in the story as much. But I will say, I gotta give my guy Endeavor some respect. Yeah, y'all didn't think I was gonna hear it, but I heard, I was like, is that who I think it is? That's my guy Endeavor right there, man. Beautiful. They did it beautiful. Now, in the story, actually, what you're saying now is I'm fighting Guardian Anjanath. The reason why I say Guardian, because there are artificial monsters, which means that I think that they have like man-made like monsters in this game, which will be pretty interesting, because there's a lot of ways that they could go about doing in this direction too, with having like the actual monster. So I'm pretty interested to see how far that they will actually take the Guardian idea, if they even take it any further. But yeah, the story is like a tutorial. Now, hear me out here. It pretty much shows you how to play and all this other stuff. And yes, the first part of the story, the low rank monster part of the story, is pretty easy for the most part. Maybe it's because I'm a veteran Monster Hunter player, or probably it's because they wanted to bring in new players of playing like they did for Monster Hunter World. The low rank part of the story just felt too easy because yes, there's two parts of the story. Now, when you get to the high rank part, I also still felt that it was pretty simple because, vet again. So these monsters didn't hold no water against me. I beat them up. I just straight beat them up because that's what I was there to do. I was there to become a god. I'm sorry, that's just who I am. Anyways, once you beat the high rank monsters, that's pretty much it for the story. You pretty much have to stop Arkvale. That's the whole literal story. You have to stop Arkvale, and you save Nada, and then Nada becomes a hunter and all that. Which I gotta say real quick on Nada, for those who like him, oh my god, bro, it literally felt like I was babysitting. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be the guy that say it. I felt like I was babysitting. The only thing Nada is good for after you beat the game is you can get trade requests when you go up to them from other people, so you don't have to actually go to the certain areas around the world map. So they're going like Wyveria or any of the other areas, but you just forget about Nada. Forget about Nada. Now, anyways, back to the topic. There are also other things that they really did well in this game that I was really surprised by. Instead of you just having other quests to do, side quests to do or stuff like that, which you did. You also had these things known as side missions. And side missions was pretty much you going around and talk to people from around the world map. And they would give you certain little small missions and stuff like that to do, which really why I said the characters that you're with in the story, it brings more life into these characters as well, because with these side missions, they will legit have you go grab something, capture something, go beat up a monster or something like that, or go grab some certain material or whatever. And once you did that mission, you would come and give it back to whoever needed it and stuff like that. And it would upgrade them, and it would honestly help you out the longer you play the game. Like for your cat, you would go get a Vigor Wasp, and he would upgrade his Vigor Wasp, so now he can give you bigger Vigor Wasp while you're in battle or something like that. Gotta stop here one second. Saying Vigor Wasp so many times, Jesus Christ, that is honestly a tongue twister. I almost messed up 5 times. Jesus. Moving on. Other than that, they did have, this game has known as free roam. They have free roaming in this game. So now you don't just quest and go back to the hub. You can just move around, free roam, and see what monsters really come in and stuff like that. And not have to really worry about being in the hub 90% of the time anymore. Also, I do like the quick note that they did add tempered monsters in this game at launch. So, that's something that it was pretty nice. I do wish that when you beat up these tempered monsters, they would give you something more special for your regular armor or something like that. Other than that, they just give you something for the artisan weapons. It was pretty much a in-game. It's in-game weapons. You can make your weapon stronger. You get certain pieces and stuff like that to make these weapons to make them stronger. But anyways, I did like how they have you can now create your own quests and stuff like that once you got further into the game. They did bring in 2 monster fights. You can fight 2 monsters, same quest, stuff like that. That's what I mean. That was pretty nice. But I will say I was a little disappointed because they don't have fighting 3 to 4 monsters like they did in the old Monster Hunter games. I don't know if people didn't like that or anything like that, but legit, it's just more of a challenge. Can you beat 4 monsters in 50 minutes? And yes, they're probably gonna make the monsters weaker if you're by yourself and stuff like that. But to me, it's still a challenge, bro. It's taking you 30 minutes and you only got 20 minutes left or something like that. It really brings out how well of a Monster Hunter player can you play to beat up 4 monsters and have 3 lives. I mean, you still have 50 minutes, but you have 3 lives to beat up 4 monsters. So you basically have to try to not die. Um, Other than that, I do also like that, in this game, for the love of God, I don't know why they thought about this, but it was absolutely beautiful. You have two weapons now. Jesus Christ, you have two weapons. Awesome, beautiful. So now, instead of me just, not wanting to play with the same old weapon, I can go play with another weapon and just have it on standby on my Sacred, which will also be nice. Also, I don't know how the hell I forgot about the Sacred, but I literally forgot about the Sacred. Jesus Christ. Yo, companion throughout the whole game. You ain't gonna be doing much walking because you're gonna be on the Sacred, moving around, running, jumping off stuff, flying, doing all this other stuff. And the Sacred is just absolutely beautiful. Now, the issue that I actually have with this game is more or less of, I feels like something is missing from this game. I don't know what it is. I just feel like something is missing. Normally, I'd put so many hours into this game, which right now, I think I probably have about 70 to 80 hours. But, stuff like Monster Hunter World, which, of course, that's a full complete game by now. But, I had 500 hours into that game. And even before the DLC came out, I probably had about a good 100 to 200 hours into that game already. So I played so much of these games and stuff like that, and I just feel like something is missing from here. Probably because I feel like there's nothing to do after you beat the game other than get the artisan weapons, not unless there's just something I'm clearly missing and stuff like that, and I'm just not paying any attention to. But another thing that I also want to talk about here, which I felt was very important, is where are the Elder Dragons? Now, I know that they were trying to bring in a new audience for this game necessarily, but with every Monster Hunter now, there's just been Elder Dragons. Even if we're getting the same Elder Dragons sometimes, or if you want some, you probably want some new Elder Dragons and probably aren't getting them. But where are they at in this game? You could have made Jin-Dahad an Elder Dragon, honestly, because you can't trap him or anything, and he feels like another dragon fight, which, by the way, side note, I call Jin-Dahad my guy Jennifer Dahad. Don't ask, bro. I don't know why I do these things, man. But anyways, other than that, Zoshia is definitely could be considered an Elder Dragon. So but he wasn't, you couldn't get his armor base game. You pretty much beat him and that was it. That was it. There was no hint of him, no what's name until recently they brought him back so you can fight him again so you can get his armor. But where are the other dragons? No Teostra, no Kushala, no nothing. Where are they at? And I get probably why they did that was to bring in the new players, but it's to a point where now we're kind of just spoiled of it. You brought them into the last 2 to 3 games, so you might as well just have them in. You might as well just should have had them in at launch. And the other thing that I don't like that they're doing is, okay, so for the content that they're coming out with it every season, which, everyone's gonna be like, that's not really long once you really think about it and stuff like that. But we're getting maybe 2-3 monsters every season, and one of them's gonna be an Arch-Tempered monster because, we got Arch-Tempered right now, which is fine and all, but it's going to be there's so many good games coming out in 2025 that you waiting oh yeah, I got to wait this season to get this and wait that season to get that. Are you really going to stay entertained enough for these 3 to 4 monsters that you're really just going to beat in probably about an hour time? If you're already that strong enough, you're literally just going to go in, beat those monsters, and get right back off of this game and go do something else, which that's another thing for Capcom. I hate to see that Capcom is kind of doing it in this way. It's a love-hate relationship because I love that they're trying to consistently stay up with giving us content, each season. But like I said, there's other games coming out, so people are just going to want to go play something else if they don't feel like there's anything to necessarily do in-game-wise, which to me, I don't really feel like there's much to do in-game-wise. And then Capcom legit always cooks with their DLC for every Monster Hunter game. It is that $40, please keep it at $40, by the way, with the economy getting worse and games popping up to $80 to $90, I'm looking at you, Nintendo. Please just leave it at $40, please. please. Because you guys normally drop a DLC like a year later. It's like $40, and it literally cooks on every problem that anybody normally has with Monster Hunter. They give us more to do. Just more to do is literally it. Like, more to do, more monsters, more story, and it makes Monster Hunter beautiful, and it makes it feel like that the end game's actually complete. I don't feel like that it's not a complete game. Maybe I said that earlier in the video. It's a complete game, and it's nice. There's no bugs. There's no nothing. You don't have to worry about anything of like New Age games do, which makes no sense because they should just be complete at launch instead of like being half done and making sure that the community finished it for them. I'm looking at like, there's so many games at this point. But with that being said, it's just like that DLC has to cook, which also, side note, again, when they came out with the Arch Tempered Raidou, I will give my props to how they did the Mitazune in this one, because it also has some of the Violet Mitazune moves as well, so they kind of mixed both of them up, which was really well done. So they actually, that was a nice fight, but like I said, I was already too strong enough, so I just beat the shit out of them and kept it moving. But for my final verdict of this game, with everything being said, it is still a 9 out of 10. This game is beautiful. It's beautiful, and there was like, I don't care if anyone's like, oh man, I think this game should be rated lower. No, this game is beautiful. It does its job. It released well. People played it. There wasn't like any bad lags. We didn't have to really finish the game for them and stuff like that, which it's sad to really talk about that, we finishing games for developers and stuff like that in 2025. Like, bro, let's be real. And I consider this legit a great Monster Hunter game to go play. It is a 2025 Game of the Year contender. And I'm saying it now. If I don't see it at the Game Awards this year, somebody needs to be smacked. That's all I'm saying. So, until next time, y'all. Peace out.